Yeah, it's the Quis, and I'm back. Been gone for a while, but what has brought me out of hiatus? Dun, 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 it's that time. About to go ahead and watch the new Superman movie. And with me, I have one of the Couch's favorite guests, my homeboy Stegman. Say hi, Stegman.
Hi, Stegman.
I knew that was coming. Sick. Got the lawnmower going on. Close that up. But you know the couch. It wouldn't be the couch if it wasn't ghetto. So, got to keep it funky. But so me and Stegman, we're going to go see Superman. Hopefully this one will be, a lot more entertaining than the last outing of Superman. That was pretty rough. If you remember Superman Returns, a.k.a. Super Stalker. But so Stegman and I, we were having an argument as we tend to. I, of course, despite my t-shirt, am a huge Marvel fan. The only comic company worth mentioning. And
that
he...
isn't DC.
That what?
That isn't DC.
Right. Well, I mean, we were arguing about the different DC and Marvel movies. All right, so basically, I'm going to let Stegman start, and you can tell the world, all of the couch potatoes out there, what your opinion is in terms of the quality of Marvel movies versus DC movies, and basically defend your company.
All right. Well, to me, it comes down to basically quantity versus quality. Marvel has more movies than DC, but I think the DC movies that are good are better than anything that Marvel's produced.
All right, now what are these alleged good DC movies? Because when I think of DC movies, I think of Catwoman starring Halle Berry with no mention of anything even remotely having anything to do with Batman. I mean, that movie was atrocious. You got the Green Lantern. The less said about that, the better. Then you had, we already mentioned Superman Returns, and then you have 14 Batman movies. But what are these great these great DC movies that you speak of?
Let's get the obvious ones out of the way right away. The Batman Nolan films.
Oh, the most recent ones.
Yeah, the Nolan trilogy.
Okay, so in the century-long history of DC's existence, you're referring to the last 4 to 5 years. Okay.
Indeed.
Okay.
There's also Watchmen. Can't go wrong with Watchmen.
All right, one of their,
It's an imprint, but it's still DC.
Right. Okay.
Speaking of, I know a lot of people don't know about these. The imprint movies come out, but there's actually a lot of DC imprint movies. There's A History of Violence, which is another Vertigo comic, I think, made into a movie.
Oh, no, I think people are aware of imprint movies in general because one very entertaining imprint movie recently was Kick-Ass, a Marvel imprint movie. So there's that, but please continue.
Okay. There's also Road to Perdition, which is another imprint movie.
Whoa. Now we're just talking about, good movies in general that just happen to be backed by DC.
It's under DC's house roof. So
all right, well, we're going to use that argument.
All right.
Marvel
is
owned. I mean, Marvel's owned by Disney. If we're going to talk about rules, I mean, have you heard of good Disney movies? Because I can name about 1,000.
No. There's a difference between having a comic book movie and then just having a movie that's owned by Disney.
Yeah, but if you're talking about Road to Perdition, and you're going off into movies that were produced by the studio that was,
But they're still DC characters.
All right. Okay, well, let's stick to the more traditional heroes because that's what our original argument is about.
Okay. There's the first 2 Superman movies in the 70s. Those are both very good.
Those are classics. I'll give you that.
There's Batman in 89?
90. With Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Maybe. Was it in 92? I think it was 92.
The Tim Burton one. I don't know exactly what year.
That was a good one. And then there was about 5 horrible ones that preceded that until Christopher Nolan came in.
There were 2, but yeah.
I mean, the Batman Returns was, I liked.
I think Batman Returns was decent. It wasn't. I
had
problems with it.
Michelle Pfeiffer turned in an amazing Catwoman, I'll give you that. All right, now, in Marvel's defense, and this is a comment that Stegman made early on Facebook when we were having this argument, they make a lot of movies because they have the budget to do so. Whereas DC will make 1,000 cartoons, which you have with Marvel, you had I'll say all 3 X-Men movies. The original 3, the trilogy was amazing. I mean, there were quirks, but considering that Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, have all been under the umbrella of Fox. They're not even owned by Marvel anymore. You know, that's kind of just like, you know, throwing your money in the dark and hoping that you can get it back. Like, who knows what Fox is going to do? I mean, X-Men First Class was a big fuck you to Marvel because they had made Captain America and Thor that year. So they were like, well, we're going to go ahead and, you know, rape this franchise. I mean, Mystique being a childhood friend of Professor Xavier
and then just betraying him at the end of the movie because Magneto paid her a compliment.
Right, you're sexy in your blue skin. Like, come on. Like, I mean, they just completely just did horrible things with those characters. Azazel being a henchman of the Hellfire Club when he's really a demonic lord. You know, it just, I had issues. I mean, it was, I'd give it like a C plus, maybe a B minus, or even a D plus. You know, if I really start to think about it.
Minus.
Yes.
Yeah, I give it
C minus over D plus.
Yeah.
I mean, there was highlights. You know, the cameo of Hugh Jackman.
I really liked Michael Fassbender's Magneto.
Yeah, he was pretty badass when he was like hunting Nazis. You know, Eric Langshire, the Nazi hunter. So, all in all, by the way, I just want to give a shout out to my cameraman, my right hand, for the camera work. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to comment on that. But you know, Quis' Couch.
Let's keep it classy.
Yeah, well, part of his allure is the fact that it's such a, you know, this is almost as good as a production as the average DC movie. So at least, you know, it's in good company. I mean, I'm employing a lot of, with, you know, my hand in the shot, a lot of the same quality that you got out of that last Catwoman movie. Again, for your DC argument, I will continue to cite Catwoman.
And I will give you Elektra.
Okay, so she glided to the ground, and you could almost see the wires when she jumped. But come on, like, she wasn't that bad.
Yeah, she was.
All right, she was.
That plot made no sense at all.
It didn't.
She was at least tolerable in Daredevil.
Right.
But in this one, it's just painful.
It was rough. Okay, Catwoman is Marvel's or Elektra is Marvel's Catwoman. But I mean, come on, we put out, and by we, Marvel Comics, as if I have any affiliation with the company, Iron Man's 1 through 3, and granted, the Mandarin debacle is almost as bad as what happened with Deadpool. I'll give you that. Mm-hmm. Fantastic Four was entertaining. I love Chris Evans as well as Michael Chiklis.
He made a better Captain America than he did Human Torch.
Are you serious?
I think so.
In the Avengers, he was a badass Captain America.
Well,
But
okay, yeah, that's in Avengers.
Because Captain America was kind of dry. Yeah. But Chris Evans as Human Torch, he was so funny and charming. You know, he was a ladies' man. He had all the quips. You know, he was the comedic relief.
Well,
you know, for the movies.
Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man, I give him that. Which is a reason I don't like the Raimi Spider-Man movies.
They were classics. You know, they had. I mean, I never liked Tobey Maguire's cast as Spider-Man.
I don't like any of the cast except for William Dafoe as Green Goblin. That's probably the only one I like.
That was good because I didn't like Franco as Goblin Jr. Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. They almost always miscast and continue to do so.
Was on Mary Jane as she was having that movie filmed.
They even with you had most recently the news that they would be casting Jamie Foxx as Electro, a comedian for a old grizzled 1970s two-bit crook whose name is Max Dillon. Like, how do you miscast any further? I mean, there's rumors that the kid who played Andre in The Wire will be the new Human Torch.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that too. Yeah.
I mean, this gratuitous casting of black people in the roles of historically white characters, it's unnecessary.
Even in the new Man of Steel movie is coming out, which is not quite as big as having a black Human Torch, but Perry White is being played by Lawrence Fishburne in the Man of Steel movie. So
why do you
Perry White is now.
Why? Yeah, Perry White is black. Why throw in black people like, you know, Michael Clark Duncan is Kingpin?
Yeah.
Like, why make these characters that have been around for decades black for no reason when there are credible black characters out there?
Yeah.
You know, bring in Black Lightning before you turn Perry White into Lawrence Fishburne, or, you know, Black Panther until you have to force in the Falcon in the new Avengers movie. I don't know.
Falcon.
But still, despite our gripes, I think everyone can agree that Marvel is just a far superior entity. I mean, you got 1,000 animated shows that DC puts out, but why don't they have the money to make decent movies? Like, where's the Wonder Woman movie? Where's the Flash movie? You know, where is a decent Green Lantern movie? Where are these movies? Why is DC not producing great movies? But if you go on Netflix, they have like 400 Supermans and 30 Batmans.
Well, even if there are animated movies, I still think plot-wise, they are far superior than most Marvel live-action movies.
Oh, like Bat Nipples? You would care to speak to that?
I'm speaking about the animated movies right now.
Oh, the animated movies.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
like Under the Red Hood, for instance, was a fantastic movie. It was animated, but it was one of my favorite movies.
well, when you had the budget of like, I don't know, how much does it cost to make an animated movie? $11? Of course, you get like spare no expense when it comes to creating a great story and great effects. It's animated, but where are their big budget movies?
Yeah, but the story has nothing to do with the money, though. It's about writing and the scripts.
Well, I would say that you do have to. If you put,
I mean, when it comes to like shooting scenes, yeah, that has money to do with it. Like, if you're gonna have a giant epic battle, then yeah, money will come into that place.
but when it costs, when you can spare like 5% of your budget for all of the visual, and then you got 95% of the budget to hire the best writers, you know, then you can afford to create a great story. But when it comes to like a production, Marvel churns out 3 to, you know, every one DC movie. It was a rhetorical question. The answer, of course, is to why Marvel puts out more movies, and why Marvel movies, by the way, break world records. Spider-Man, Avengers 3, and Iron Man 3, is because they sell more comics. I mean, that's what it boils down to. I mean, granted, we have this pile of, you know, DC comics right here, but at the end of the day, Marvel is a better product. Stegman, why won't you accept that?
I agree with you on the first part. They do sell more comics. That's a fact. But it's better. I don't really think so.
X-Men is probably one of the most revolutionary concepts to come around in fiction in a long time. For those who don't know that, and I find it surprising that people don't know that the story of X-Men is allegory to the civil rights movement, and the whole concept of mutants is meant to mirror the plight of not only black people but disenfranchised people throughout history. And Professor Xavier is a allegory for Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X, of course, is, you know,
Magneto. Yeah.
So, like, what do you have to top that?
That was all well and good, but that was 40 years ago.
Oh.
What have they done for me lately? It's just they are on equal terms as DC as opposed to relatability and themes. I mean, to me,
says the man wearing a Superman shirt, a character that was created around the same time that, ironically, the Nazis were taking over Germany with their Supermen, which, again, we talked about earlier before we started filming the whole origin of Superman, and being that, you know, how could you be any less of a douchebag? How could you name yourself Superman? I mean, how is that not the most obnoxious name in the history of superhero naming? Like, what do you want to call yourself? Superman. Like, hey, humble much?
He's super. He's a man. Makes
Jesus
sense.
Christ. Well, and that's my biggest beef with DC. I mean, they gotta have the most hokey, like, come on, like Superman, Batman,
Spider-Man, Iron Man.
All right, I'll give you that. But yet,
and let's talk about the Hulk. Hulk. The big green guy, just Hulk. That's his name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, two guesses what his name would be. Just DC created though.
Muscle Man, what?
Green Man, probably.
Green Man.
Or Hawkman. Oh wait, there's already a character that's called Hawkman. How ridiculous. You know, for those who don't know Hawkman, because there'll never be a Hawkman movie unless it comes on a CW, which again it might be. He has hawk wings and a hawk helmet. In case you were able to not differentiate between him and his partner, spoiler alert, Hawk Girl. Wow. So, I mean, yeah, we have our Iron Man and our Spider-Man, but cheese and crackers, you got so many. You got Plastic Man, you got Wonder Woman, and then you got Superboy, and then you got Wonder Girl, and I mean, they just like didn't stop.
Yeah. Well, you gotta understand, this is made in a time where girl, man, lad, lass were all very popular names. I mean, what, the 40s, the 50s?
I guess back when people weren't able to tell genders.
It was a different time back then.
Well, that's all we got for this episode.